Many men and women are feeling tired, moody, having difficulty sleeping, gaining weight, and have no desire for intimacy or exercise. These symptoms can be caused by reduced levels of hormones that occur naturally as we age. You'll be happy to learn there's an exciting, safe, and natural solution available at Low TE Florida. If you'd like to learn more about how Low TE Florida can safely balance hormones for both men and women, call today or visit our website at lowteflorida.com.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to Let's Talk Hormones with Carolyn Zallmeyer. Take some time with me this evening to learn how to age healthier and live happier. Today we'll be discussing how hormones can affect all aspects of your health and well-being. I've been specializing in women's health and hormones for over 28 years and focusing in on bioidentical hormone therapy for both men and women for the past several years. We talk hormones, we don't talk sex, we talk health, aging, wellness, and relationships, and well, maybe a little bit of sex. So let's get this party started. Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Hormones with me, Carolyn Zallmeyer, bioidentical hormone expert. We're streaming live on Facebook on the Low TE Florida page, live on 95.3 FM and 1470 AM here in South Florida, and also on the iHeartMedia app found under WNN 1470. During the next 30 minutes, if you have any questions for me or my guest tonight, Dr. John Carrazella, the Florida Center for Hormones and Wellness in Orlando, Florida, please call in to 1-888-565-1470. Dr. Carrazella is an anti-aging expert, a fellow BioT provider, has a boatload of education, very smart man. So please, we welcome your questions. Send them in. We'd be happy to address them. We would love to answer your questions on our topic tonight, dispelling the cancer myths of bioidentical hormone pellet therapy and any other things that you don't understand about what we do with bioidentical hormones and pellet therapy. We'll be talking about the many functions of hormones in your body and how optimizing your hormones can help you feel and possibly even look like you did maybe 10, 15 years ago. If you're tired of being tired, have low energy, gaining weight, and have lost your zest for life, I'd love to help you, and so would Dr. Carrazella. Call in tonight or call my office at 954-791-4498, or you can even post your question on Low TE Florida Facebook page and we'll get right back to you. I've been prescribing hormones here in South Florida for over 28 years. I currently own and operate my own practice, Low TE Florida, which is located across from Holy Cross Hospital on Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale. Dr. Carrazella and I are affiliated with BioT Medical out of Texas, and we both studied under Dr. Gary Donovitz, the founder and president of BioT Medical. With the BioT method, we utilize pellet therapy to optimize one's hormones, leading to better energy, mood, sex drive, better sleep, joint pain relief, and much more. We want to help you feel and look your best. If you're interested in learning more about BioT and how to age healthier and live happier, we have this book you can order on our website. You just go to the home page, scroll down, and you can put in your information, and we'd be happy to mail it out to you for no charge. So what is BioT? Simply put, the BioT method is a leader in the field of bioidentical hormone optimization. We continue to change healthcare by helping people feel their best no matter what their age. BioT and its therapies is reducing breast cancer significantly. It also is reducing diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, and osteoporosis. The BioT method utilizes hormone pellets that are inserted under your skin and give you a nice, consistent delivery of hormones for many months. I'm so happy to have with me tonight for an interview via telephone my fellow BioT provider and friend, Dr. John Carrazella. Welcome, Dr. Carrazella.
Carolyn, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you to have this discussion this evening.
I can't hear him. Hold on, I can't hear you.
Okay.
There you are. Okay, welcome.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you, Carolyn. This is going to be a fun little evening, and I hope we can get out some information to your people.
Excellent. As a fellow BioT provider, I thought it might be fun to go over some of the frequently asked questions that we both hear in our practices regarding BioT pellet system. I hope that together we can help dispel some of the myths regarding hormone therapy. My goal for us is to simplify what can be a sometimes complicated topic to make it understandable for all. I was the first BioT provider here in Florida many moons ago, and I've really enjoyed incredible growth with my practice, meaning I've been able to follow the model to help change people's lives and their health, and I know you're doing the same. Dr. Carrizale, can you please take a few minutes and just tell us about you? I know you've continued on with your education and have a really interesting history. If you could just give us a brief rundown of your history before we get started.
Sure. I was trained as an orthopedic surgeon, and I practiced that for about 25 years, but had a dramatic twist when my wife went through a dramatic menopause, and we did the same, running around that everybody does looking for an answer. And when we didn't really seem to find one early on, we felt that there was something more to it. So to make that story short, we found hormones, and it was absolutely life-changing. And I was frustrated with traditional medicine to the degree that I was interested in looking at something else. So I went off and got a master's degree in nutritional and metabolic medicine from the University of South Florida and completely reoriented my practice and became solely a hormone and sexual wellness practitioner. It's been the most exciting part of my career, part of my life. And after the master's degree, I completed a fellowship in human sexual wellness and metabolic medicine, and opened up my practice in Orlando, and absolutely have experienced tremendous and rapid growth as people are looking for alternatives to the menopause problems that they have.
Beautiful. Well, it sounds like you're changing people's lives every day.
Oh, absolutely. I tell you what, I made an impact as an orthopedic surgeon, but I make a bigger impact on people's lives, and to be invited into their lives, to change them the way that we do, to improve their wellness, their vitality, their health, their sexual intimacy is just a gift that really is amazing. And it's amazing to experience the changes with these people that felt helpless and unable to experience the best parts of their lives as they age into their 50s, 60s, and even beyond.
Well, it certainly seems like you found your calling.
Absolutely. This is just a fun way to practice medicine, and it really makes a tremendous impact on people's lives.
That's what I always say, that I love going to work because I get to give people hope that are not feeling their best, and then actually make it happen. And so you're doing the same. So happy to have you here with us tonight. I really love the BioT pellet system. Estradiol pellets have been used safely here in the United States for well over 80 years. A lot of people think the pellet system is new, but the first study we find is from 1939. I remember my first exposure to the pellets was back in 1979. I was training in surgery in Memphis. After doing a radical hysterectomy, after we closed the patient up, we rolled her over and put pellets in her backside so she wouldn't feel so bad when she woke up. I understand the pellets are used in over 5 continents. I treasure my relationship with BioT Medical. We have a wonderful supportive program to first get providers educated on the benefits of hormone optimization, and then they also help continuously share new information, new research studies as it comes available. One of the most common questions I'm asked is, what are bioidentical hormones? And bioidentical hormones are derived from plants, and they have the identical molecular structure as the hormones that we naturally produce. So in the chemical molecules in our product, it's exactly what our body produces, so our body is just kind of convinced that we're producing more and more. So despite the efforts to discredit bioidentical hormones, the scientific research just keeps getting better and better, proving not only the quality of life benefits, but the health benefits of maintaining optimized hormone balance. There's many mixed messages out there regarding the safety of estrogen and hormone therapy, and it seems like a very controversial topic for some. Even among the healthcare providers in my area, my patients are getting mixed messages, silly things that they're saying are related to our hormone therapy that it just doesn't make any sense. So tonight we're going to separate the fact from fiction. We're going to debunk the misinformation that's hanging out there. So Dr. Carrizale, let's take a few minutes and address some of the questions I hear over and over, and I know you've been asked the same questions over the years. I feel like estrogen's really gotten a bad rap. We produce it naturally in our ovaries as women in our younger years, and it's necessary for puberty and reproduction. So why is it so bad? The biggest question and the most common question I get is, will this therapy cause breast cancer? How do you respond to your patients when they ask you that, doctor?
Excuse me. Well, yes, I get that question very frequently as well. I think there's two very important points to make. First of all, the myth that hormones cause cancer comes from the Women's Health Initiative, in which they were looking at an estrogen that comes from horses that's over 100 times more powerful than the human estrogen. And when you combine that with a toxic chemical called medroxyprogesterone acetate, or MPA, those two in combination have been what was shown to increase breast cancer. Interestingly, in that study, if you really drill it down and look at the estrogen alone, that is, even that really powerful horse estrogen, the limb in that study that looked at that alone actually showed a 10% reduction in the risk of breast cancer. So even the study that everybody points to that says that estrogen causes cancer shows that an estrogen foreign to humans reduces that risk. So the reality is every single study that looks at bioidentical hormones and its impact into breast cancer actually shows either no increase in the risk of breast cancer or a substantial, statistically significant decrease. The other thing that's really crucial about understanding bioidentical hormones, and some really exciting research that's evolving right now that's being done in Dayton, Ohio, and Australia, you find that when you use testosterone in women, you can reduce the risk of breast cancer by as much as 70%. Now, that's a stunning statistic that's being reproduced in 2 separate centers around the world that shows that hormones, that's biologically identical hormones that we use in our office every single day, actually reduce the risk of breast cancer. So when you look at estradiol, the human estrogen that we use every day, that has never been shown to increase the risk of breast cancer. In fact, it may be breast protective when properly combined with progesterone, and you properly use the testosterone on top of it. The risk of breast cancer actually declines substantially. So it's an absolute myth that hormones cause cancer.
Fabulous. Very well said.
Yeah, it's horse estrogen and a toxic chemical that is,
yes,
and that's been spread to what we do every day.
You put it very clearly. Thank you very much. Now, estrogen has over 400 functions in our bodies. What are some of the benefits of using estradiol pellet therapy?
Well, estradiol and pellet therapy, first of all, it obviates the need to apply a cream or take a pill every day. And so there are some controversies, particularly about pills, but creams, they just can't get the blood levels on a regular and reproducible basis. So the pellets are implanted into the body, and they release that estradiol slowly over time and allow you to titrate that to the level that's optimum in the body to get the best symptom relief and the best long-term improvement in terms of protection against heart disease, osteoporosis, Alzheimer's disease, and other dementia, and a host of other metabolic and physiological problems.
Excellent. Now, one question I get is like, oh, my sister had breast cancer. Can I use the pellet therapy?
Absolutely. There's zero contraindication to use pellet therapy in women that have a family history of breast cancer. As I said, properly applied, there's plenty of literature to suggest that estrogen and testosterone and progesterone properly applied does not increase the risk of breast cancer, does not increase the risk of patients with the BRCA gene, and does not increase the risk of breast cancer in people that have a family history. In fact, the evidence is emerging and is becoming more and more solid every day that properly applied bioidentical hormones actually reduce the risk of breast cancer over time.
Well, we hear about estrogen-positive breast cancer. Is that caused by estrogen, and would our estradiol therapy affect that?
See, that's another misunderstood concept. Just because a cancer may be estrogen positive doesn't mean that's a bad thing. It means that the cells in the breast cancer are responding to estrogen. Now, it's never been proven whether or not the estrogens actually stimulate them or regress them. And the fact is that there are over 65 studies in the literature that show even in immediate breast cancer patients, when you use estradiol, the risk of recurrence actually goes down, regardless of the receptor status. Now, I'm not advocating that we use estradiol in immediate post-cancer patients. The standard of care that exists today is to wait at least 5 years for estradiol alone. But I am saying that the studies do not show that even the use of estradiol in immediate cancer treatment has any adverse effect.
Right. So if there's a breast cancer survivor that has gone past, say, 5 years, you would pellet them only with testosterone and with the anastrozole in it, correct?
Actually, I would pellet a patient that's estrogen I'm sorry, I would pellet a breast cancer patient with testosterone and use progesterone immediately because of the proven literature-supported breast protective effects. However, I would wait to use estradiol for 5 years.
Okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. All righty. Just this week, I had a patient that came in, and her gynecologist had told her that her bioidentical hormone pellets were causing her high blood pressure. How do you respond to that?
That's absolutely baloney, and there's absolutely no study out there that shows that. Now, some synthetic hormones have been shown to cause liver problems, circulatory problems, and blood pressure problems. And so what ends up happening is a lot of doctors hear the concept that hormones can cause high blood pressure, and that gets extended to the bioidentical world. And the fact of the matter is there's never been a study. So the way I would respond to that, I go, I can understand that and I appreciate that, but I'm not aware of any literature that shows that. So that I would ask the doctor very kindly and very gently, if you're aware of a specific journal citation that says that, I would love to see that, because then I would need to modify the way that I counsel my patients. Mm-hmm. And universally, they can't produce those articles.
She was also told the same thing about how it was going to cause high cholesterol as well.
Yeah, that's synthetics do, like Trimbolone or some of those that the weightlifters and the gym rats will abuse. Those can, and they absolutely do, but that's because the liver doesn't recognize them as being natural to the body and will cause an abnormal metabolic process to occur that does indeed cause those issues.
Mm-hmm. Now, we learned that women may be able to get the benefits of the pellet therapy for 3 to 5 months, and for men maybe 4 to 6 months. What are some of the factors that affect how quickly you go through your pellets?
Well, the biggest factor really is how aggressive or how physical that they are. The people that I have seen that use their pellets up the fastest are the people that really spend a lot of time in the gym. Mm-hmm. Another factor that can cause some problems there is having surgery or being under a lot of stress or mm-hmm. life stress. Those things tend to cause the pellets to be used up a little bit faster.
Yeah, I remember after Hurricane Irma down here, all of a sudden my phones were just ringing off the hook. Everybody with all their preparation and evacuation and all that, they just burned right through their pellets. So we got everybody balanced out right away so that they could rebuild what they needed to do down here.
Sure. I see that a lot. Yeah, when people get under stress and all of a sudden they call in and say, for some reason I went through it faster this month.
Yeah. Now, are there any side effects to the BioT pellets?
I don't like to use the word side effects. I usually counsel my patients that the only thing we see with bioidentical hormones is excess effects of the things that they do. So if you use too much testosterone in a woman, might you get, a stray facial hair or an extra pimple or some oily skin? Yes, that may occur, but that's what testosterone does. Mm-hmm. So you don't get side effects that can be adverse to your life or your health. Same thing with estradiol. If you use estradiol in a woman, it causes uterine proliferation normally every month, and then it sloughs and you might have some bleeding. So maybe as many as, somewhere between 2 and 5% of women who use estradiol may experience some bleeding at some time during the course of their therapy. But that's what estradiol does. It's not bad. It doesn't hurt anything. And we just need to regulate it and properly balance it out with a progesterone.
Got it. So what do you feel makes our BioT pellets so special and unique?
Well, I think that they spend a lot of time manufacturing them. I think that they control the manufacturing process by seeking out highly qualified 503B production pharmacies. Now, these pharmacies are exactly the same in production standards by the FDA that are seen in big pharma. So the quality of the product is highly regulated by the FDA. The other thing that is true is that they're exceptionally pure. All they have in them is the binding agent, stearic acid, and the hormone itself. Beyond that, what makes them really exceptional is that they're radiated by E-beam radiation. And the thing about that is many pellets are sterilized by gas or steam. Neither gas or steam can break down the hormone within the pellet or cause the pellet to break down more quickly in the body. So the manufacturing process and the quality of the manufacturers that BioT uses for their pellets is far above most anything available on the market today.
Yes, I've always felt very comfortable with the pellets that we receive. From what I understand, one pellet from every single batch that gets mailed out gets sent to an independent lab, tested 8 different ways, and if it fails one of those inspections, it gets rejected, and some other company will probably buy it, but we're not going to use it because we have the highest standards. So to find out if you have a hormone imbalance, it's very simple. You can go in and get your blood tested, and that's what we use for dosing. Do you want to tell us about the dosing site a little bit?
Well, BioTE is very unique in that they have experience with thousands and thousands and thousands of patients. And so what they have been able to do is they've been able to develop a very unique dosing site whereby using the common parameters and statistics from the laboratory, weight, health factors, we're able to calculate very precisely the dose that's necessary for each and every individual patient. So it's extremely customized care that addresses a particular individual's needs specifically. Now, so many doctors out there doing hormone therapy will use one dose. They don't measure blood work or whatever. But with the BioTE method, we're very carefully watching blood levels, correlating that with symptom improvement, and then using the dosing site to get the effects that we want in an optimal fashion.
I think that's really special that we're able to actually personalize it for every person, you know, depending on their clinical information, their scientific information, bring that all together. If you have a male patient with prostate enlargement, is that a problem with pelleting?
No, absolutely not. In fact, there's plenty of literature out there now that's evolving that shows that men with this problem called LUTS, or lower urinary tract symptoms, LUTS, the literature is very strongly supportive of hormone therapy, and it clearly indicates that when you optimize testosterone, the prostate health improves. So it used to be just the opposite, but in the recent years we have found that high levels of testosterone actually improve prostate health.
That's really great, because I found with like some of my older women that they've noticed an improvement with their mild urinary incontinence once their hormones are optimized, their pellet hormones are optimized. One lady in particular, I think she was about 78, used to come in, and that's why she was getting the pellets, is she had such good relief from that. And I said, well, are you getting anything else out of this? And she said, well, you know, yeah, I think that testosterone's working for me. And I said, how so? And she says, well, I'm really kicking ass at Mahjong. so it was working for her.
No, one of the things that's really remarkable about the testosterone is the way it clears thinking, engagement, and your ability to participate in your activities. I mean, so many people will say, like, it's been a curtain has been lifted, or I feel back involved in life again. It's just dramatic. Mm-hmm. So many people think that they're just getting old, but the reality is it's this hormonal imbalance in the brain.
Right. Now, tell us about, I have a lot of male patients coming in that are currently using the shots, the testosterone Cypionate. Can you talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, I really am a little bit adverse to testosterone shots for a couple of reasons. First of all, Cypionate is not a true bioidentical hormone. It's the testosterone molecule binding to the cypionate through what's called an ester. And in order to be properly activated, it has to go through the liver. And while there's never been anything really definitive yet, there are a couple of studies out there right now that suggest that long-term use of cypionate puts a little bit of stress on the liver. Now, it's not really enough to say you shouldn't use it, but it's enough to say, hey, if there's a better method, maybe we could avoid that potential issue with the liver. But I think one of the biggest issues about the injections is that, number one, we don't know what the level is. What's your level? The day before you get the injection, the day after you get the injection, 3 days later, and it goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and it goes down. And these men feel like they're on a roller coaster. And particularly when it's administered, a lot of the ways that I see primary care doctors doing it is they'll give it every 2 weeks. Now, they feel good for 3 or 4 days, and then they go on a 10-day slide down to the bottom until they get their next injection. So it's a very erratic, inconsistent, unpredictable way to get testosterone. And I usually tell my guys, I say, well, if you want to be protected half of the time you're on it, then injections are a fine way to go. But I find that it's inconsistent, and the men don't like the roller coaster ride that they're on when they get the injections.
Yeah, I've converted several or many patients that were injecting over to the pellets, and they really seem to be happy with it. Number one, they're not having to use a large bore needle and inject something that's as thick as honey, and that doesn't feel good. And they also say that they just feel better, more balanced, more even, and it's a better form of treatment for them. So
sure. Well, the evenness is really interesting because it's in the body. It responds to the beating of the heart. So if you need more, if you're in the gym, you get a little bit more. And if you're on the beach in Tahiti and you need a little bit less, you get a little bit less. And so while it's not truly on demand, it does seem to follow your metabolism. And that, I think, accounts for the reason why that universally men and women on the pellets, as opposed to other forms of administration, seem to feel better qualitatively than the other people.
Besides fatigue, one of the main reasons a lot of women come into me is a weight gain. Around 50, they seem to find something around their middle that they don't like. Since you studied nutrition, we've got just a minute, but what are your top 3 recommendations for women heading through menopause with nutrition?
Well, it's absolutely crucial that you be hormonally balanced. If you're not hormonally balanced, you can't lose weight. Number 2, the most important thing is to make sure that your sugar metabolism is proper, because so many women out there have some degree of insulin resistance, and it's that insulin resistance that leads to a lot of the weight gain or weight retention. Until you get your fasting insulin levels below 8, it's extremely difficult to lose weight. And then finally, what I want to make is men and women after the age of 50 have to be very, very cautious on their sugar, their gluten, and their grains, because if you do not pay attention to that, you're going to lead to insulin resistance. It's going to cause significant problems with weight retention and inability to lose weight.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I hope tonight's show has inspired you to feel and look your best. I hope you've learned a few things tonight and enjoyed the show. Thank you, Dr. Carrizella, for sharing your knowledge tonight with all things BioTE. And if you feel like you've lost your mojo and want to regain your energy, vitality, please call my office or Dr. Carrizela's, Low TE, Florida, 954-791-4498. Or you can simply go to my website, lowteflorida.com. If you're up in Orlando, you can call me. I'll give you his information. Thank you for joining me this evening, and I hope to see you at Low TE, Florida soon. See you next time.